much. Now a Fox 11 exclusive on a story that has been really making headlines across the state and across the country. We have obtained photos of Governor Gavin Newsom at that Napa dinner party.
We have new information about what was happening as well. Bill Malugin joining us in the studio with the story. Bill.
Yeah, guys, we were sent these photos late tonight by a woman who was actually at the French Laundry restaurant the exact same night that Governor Newsom was. Now those photos that she took are raising some new questions about the governor's claims that the dinner was outdoors, as he has repeatedly claimed. Take a look.
Tonight, a Fox 11 exclusive. We've obtained this photo of Governor Gavin Newsom dining at the luxurious French Laundry restaurant in Napa the evening of November 6th. It was a birthday dinner party for Newsom's close friend, Jason Kinney, a well-known lobbyist.
I just happened to look over and realize, hey, is that Gavin Newsom? Who is that? And I did ask one of the waitresses, and she confirmed it was.
We spoke with a woman who happened to be at the restaurant the same night, and she snapped these photos. She asked us not to identify her. When the governor issued his apology on Monday, he described the dinner as outdoors.
It was in Napa, which was in the orange status, relatively loose compared to some other counties. It was to be an outdoor restaurant.
But the photo appears to show the dinner being mostly indoors, with sliding glass doors opened up for air. The woman we spoke with says at one point those doors were closed because of noise complaints about the group.
It got louder and louder, and so they had some sliding glass doors that they were able to close. So then it was just a closed off room, but you could still hear them. That's how loud they were.
She says the scene was hypocritical.
It was a very large group of people and shoulder to shoulder, something that he's always telling us not to do. So, yeah, it was a bit annoying, for sure.
A spokesperson for Jason Kinney told us, quote, the guests and the restaurant followed all applicable state and county public health guidance. The guests specifically required outdoor seating. And that's outdoor seating, as confirmed and provided by the restaurant, end quote. The spokesperson also sent us a photo from Town and Country magazine describing that same area as outdoor seating. Regardless, the governor says he just shouldn't have been there in the first place.
As soon as I sat down at the larger table, I realized it was a little larger group than I had anticipated. And I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up and walked back, got in my car, and drove back to my house. The spirit of what I'm preaching all the time was contradicted, and I got to own that. And so I want to apologize to you because I need to preach and practice, not just preach and not practice. And I've done my best to do that. We're all human. We all fall short sometimes.
And literally just a few minutes ago, right before this newscast, the governor's team did get back to us. They referred us to his previous apology, and they said they don't want to comment on the specific substance of our story tonight. Remember, on Monday, the governor said he's going to learn from his mistake. He admitted that he fears he might have lost some of his moral authority because of all this, and people might start tuning him out on his COVID precautions because of his actions. Guys?
Yeah, and there's so many important things to talk about when it comes to COVID. Bill Malugin, thank you so much. All right, some more political fallout tonight as a result of these exclusive photos Fox 11 obtained. They show Governor Gavin Newsom attending an expensive dinner party. Tonight, we're learning more about who else was at that party, including two top California medical officials, lobbyists we're talking about. Bill Malugin live with that story tonight. Bill.
Yeah, Alex, ever since we aired these photos exclusively last night, it's caused a huge media firestorm. This story and these photos have really been picked up by media outlets all across the country. And these photos are not only calling into question Governor Newsom's account that this was an outdoor dinner. As you just mentioned, we're now finding out that two very high-level representatives from the California Medical Association were also at this dinner. And now that's causing outrage as well. Take a look.
New fallout this evening over two photos obtained exclusively by Fox 11 Tuesday night. They showed Governor Gavin Newsom dining at the luxurious French Laundry restaurant in Napa. It was for the birthday dinner of well-known lobbyist Jason Kinney. No masks, no distancing, just hot water. The photos now picked up by media outlets all over. The New York Times, the Daily Mail, the New York Post, Politico, and many others, in a story that has become a national symbol of do as I say, not as I do.
Well, I was shocked, first of all, that they were so close together and it didn't appear that they were outside.
Jamie Court is the president of the progressive organization Consumer Watchdog, and his shock didn't end with what he saw in the photos, but who he saw in them. A closer look reveals that Janice Norman, a top lobbyist for the California Medical Association, is sitting right next to Governor Newsom. On the other side is the CEO of the California Medical Association, Dustin Corcoran. Neither of them. As a matter of fact, nobody at the table was wearing a mask or distancing, despite the CMA funding an ad campaign this year urging people to wear their masks.
The message is forget the pandemic, sit as close as you can, no face coverings, no masks, no social distancing. This is the state's medical association. They speak for the doctors in the state, and their chief lobbyist and president are sitting shoulder to shoulder with the governor as though it's any time in American history, not the time of a pandemic. If I didn't know how long they'd been there and how in with the association they were, I would say the medical association should fire the president and the lobbyists, because it reflects really poorly on them.
Fox 11 reached out to Norman, Corcoran, and the CMA for comment, but didn't hear back from any of them. The photos also raised questions about Governor Newsom's claim during his apology that the dinner was outdoors.
It really appears as though the public was misled in the sense that it was maybe technically an outdoor area, but there was a chandelier, there was a sliding door that apparently was closed, and the governor was very close together with these guests.
Governor Newsom has apologized profusely and promised something like this will never happen again, but court says the governor needs a total about-face if he wants to start rebuilding his credibility with Californians.
I think this is one of those times where you step into it so much that that you got to buy a whole another pair of shoes and throw those shoes out. And that's what the governor's got to do. He's got to get a new pair of shoes, man, and he's got to get some new he's got to get some new friends.
And Governor Newsom's camp has not apparently made any new statements about this controversy today. You'll remember late last night they told us that they didn't want to comment on the specific allegations in this story, the photos. They just referred us to the governor's apology, which he said on Monday. So we're waiting to see if Governor Newsom's team has anything else to say about this in the coming days. For now, we're live in West LA. We'll send it back to you.
Well, for the price of dinner at the French Laundry, you can buy a lot of shoes. Let's talk for a moment about what sort of where we go from here. We should point out that at the time, and Napa, what they were doing was technically legal because you could do indoor dining and people don't have to necessarily wear a mask while they're eating. It's just bad optics in terms of what we're looking at. And it was the mixing. That was the big issue here, because the guidelines show that you're not supposed to mix with that many different families, right?
Yeah, and especially coming up to the Thanksgiving holiday, people feel it's hypocritical. Exactly what you said. The governor and his team are specifically telling people, do not mix with more than 3 households, and that's exactly what he did at that dinner party there, along with the fact that none of them were social distancing at all, and they weren't wearing any masks. So a few things that he's been urging Californians to do to stay safe during this pandemic as the numbers shoot up all over the place, that he didn't do himself, despite the fact that it was in an orange tier at the time. Napa now, like many other counties in California, has moved to a purple tier.
And the governor's office got a lot of attention when they put out that advisory that people should wear masks in between bites. Clearly that didn't happen there, and there's no evidence that that has ever happened at any dinner in the entire state. Bill Maloogian, thank you for your reporting today.
Christine, good evening to you. We were tipped off about this by several people within the restaurant industry. They're frustrated by this and feel this is more hypocrisy from our elected leaders. You'll remember last week, Supervisor Kuehl voted to ban all outdoor dining in LA County, said it was too dangerous to allow it. Well, we found out that just hours after she made that vote and hours after she made those comments, she came right here behind us to El Forno in Santa Monica, where she dined outdoors. And now local restaurant owners, they're upset by this.
Wait a minute, restaurants are so dangerous, but you're gonna go eat in a restaurant? I mean, to me, it just blows me away.
Sends a message that we're getting direction from people that aren't really believing in the decisions that they're making.
Two local restaurant owners responding to Fox 11's exclusive reporting Monday night that just hours after LA County Supervisor Sheila Kuehl voted to ban outdoor dining last Tuesday, she came right here to Il Forno in Santa Monica and dined outdoors. Rewind the clock to that Board of Supervisors meeting. That's when Kuehl had said outdoor dining was too dangerous to continue to allow during our surge in COVID cases.
And then there's the issue of the 6-foot distance. It's a bit of magical thinking on everyone's part to think that at any restaurant anywhere, the server keeps a 6-foot distance from the table where he or she is taking an order. So the servers are not protected from us, and they're not protected from their other 6 tables that they're serving at that particular time, plus all of the hours in which they're working. So it is a most dangerous situation for them.
Evidently not dangerous enough for the supervisor to get a final restaurant visit in before the ban went into effect on Wednesday. Her spokeswoman telling us, quote, she did dine al fresco at Il Forno on the very last day it was permissible. She loves Il Forno and has been saddened to see it, like so many restaurants, suffer from a decline in revenue. She ate there, taking appropriate precautions, and sadly will not dine there again until our public health orders permit. Michael Voltaggio is a local restaurant owner who was stunned by Kuehl's decision.
For me, it's just proof of the continuous hypocrisy and just the lack of leadership and education as to what's happening right now, and this sort of shoot from the hip mentality that's not doing anyone any good.
Josiah Citron also owns multiple restaurants across LA County.
It's just disappointing that someone would make that decision to go out and eat and obviously not believe in what they. I have no idea why you vote that way if you're going to eat in a restaurant. Like, you got to get your last dinner in too before it's over. I mean, it makes no sense to me.
Citron said